Hello there, peoples. My name is Comedian. I'll get back to you on that one. This is going to be a full album live stream, I hope, unless the internet goes out or the alarm goes off in my building, which has been a thing recently. I'll be moving out of this place ASAP if you're my landlord. Sorry about that. But anyway, today I'm doing a live stream and I'm going to try and react to hopefully will. I talk a lot. You might have already noticed that. I have ADHD as well. You might have already noticed that too. But I'm going to try and react to all of RM's first mixtape because I've kind of shied away from doing full album reactions so far because I talk too much and I edit my videos a lot sometimes. But this is a way in which I can do a whole album in one go, and then hopefully it will be entertaining. That's the bit I don't know about. You'll have to watch and find out. Isn't that a fun premise for a video? So yeah, kicking off this whole album reaction, BTS RM's first mixtape is the song Voice. And I absolutely love RM. I'm pretty sure I've done all of his second mixtape, just haven't done this one. I don't do stuff in order, ADHD, I did mention that. But if you like the sound of that, if you're watching live, if you're watching in the past or the future, then subscribe and get settled in. Maybe get some food, get a trench in, like a trough, and fill it with popcorn or something. Get a bare waterbed, get a giant bucket of ice and water, and get ready because we're going to take about 10 days and react to this whole thing in one go. There is audio, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I was worried for a second that there was no audio. I like this. It's got this. To be fair, this sounds almost exactly the same as the intro to Soul. It's very, very similar, both in tone and quite literally the musical notes sound similar. I'm not a musician, so I can't say that for sure, but big Soul vibes. Oh my god. This is the thing about RM. If your eyes glaze over for 2 seconds, which happens to me a lot because I have ADHD, and hay fever, which makes my eyes glaze over sometimes, you've already lost. The battle of following his lyrics, they're so dense. Oh yes, this is heavy. This is heavy AF. I like this. I don't know if this is exactly what he's saying, but it seems like he's talking about the idea of getting lost in music as almost like more of a mathematical, that's not a word, a mathematic exercise. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like he's talking about getting lost in like notes and the theory of it rather than actually, and kind of losing sight of the art, like overthinking it too much in a sense. I can very much relate to that. I don't get lost in maths because I don't do maths, but sometimes I think to myself, I focus so much on, for example, the editing, that I've forgotten how to be entertaining as a human, or I focus so much on talking that I've forgotten how to make the words have any meaning, any context. So I like this. Oh god, could you stop describing my life for a second, please? Oh, interesting. So is he saying he was actually... I slipped a blank page into my workbook. So is he saying he was secretly working on music when he should have been working on school stuff? Oh my god, this is like... I was saying this earlier, because I think it might have been Sugar, it might have been RM, but I was watching The Writing Styles of BTS, which is a very good, army-made documentary or like video essay about, the different writing styles of BTS members, if you can believe that from the title. And I saw some clips of songs I hadn't seen before, and I think some of them were from Sugar's first album and from RM's first album or mixtape. And I remember thinking, like, wow, this is good. And it kind of reminded me how oftentimes when rappers come out and release their first piece or their first few pieces, they have this real hunger and they really, like, it's so intense and there's a real rawness to it, which I'm getting immediately from this. Like, this is so emotional and gritty. I really, really like it. Breathing, which feels different when I'm getting my grades, which I think is a very clever way of saying, a very emotive way of saying, when I get my grades, I don't breathe because I'm panicking because, I've been focusing on the music and maybe not the schoolwork. If I was right about that earlier. This is what I'm saying. This is why, I might be here till like 8 p.m. and annoy my neighbors with this album reaction, because there's more songs to come in this, and I'm already wrapped up in just this first line pretty much. Because the second line as well. Even if I get first place, my heart didn't feel at peace. And isn't that just a struggle of like, well, I'm sure and you don't have to be creative, and loads of people can relate to this, but I definitely have that, insecurity, inferiority complex, I guess, imposter syndrome as well. Like, just, even the times you actually get victories, it still doesn't settle this kind of like dragon inside you that's like, you aren't achieving enough. And when you're raised kind of feeling like you're never enough, that can become your whole like mantra, just your whole life. It's really powerful hearing these lyrics. I don't know. Let's look up the date RM's mixtape was released. Here we go. Okay, 2015. So that's 7 years ago at this point. Actually, it was March, so pretty much exactly 7 years ago. That's crazy how long ago he released this, how long he's been making excellent music for. I mean, just look at this. He says, "My dream is to give my voice to everyone, regardless of what situation I'm in, with my music and my lyrics." And he's definitely done that, and he's been doing that. It's very impressive. And it's quite inspiring to hear this 7 years later, and to know that he's achieved those dreams. But also, based on his lyrics earlier, he might not feel like that. Deep down, he probably might think, I still haven't achieved it yet. See, that's the great thing about Korean currency, is anything you buy sounds expensive. He's like, I got a 50,000 won mic in the corner of my room. That might be like $20. Like, the conversion is a bit dodgy, I know, but it sounds brilliant, This is a very, very tone-setting intro to an album, isn't it? Like, this is a heavy intro. I was thinking maybe it'll have one of those like album intros that's like kind of, like Hollywood style, some sirens going off, some people discussing their heist plans. No, straight in with the emotional gut punches. That is RM style, isn't it? Oof. This to me is almost like an amusingly stereotypical like rap. Like, this sounds a bit like that Kendrick line, like, promise that you will think about me when the lights go off. I can't remember the rest of it, but it sounds very similar to that. Doesn't get more emotional on the single piano playing, does it? Whew. Okay. Well, alright. Man, I should have done this stream on a Monday, or maybe a Wednesday. This is heavy for a Friday. This is like, And that was just the beginning. I guess we could go from this to a party banger, but I have a feeling, knowing RM, it's going to be an emotional tangle all the way down. Alright, let's have a little look at chat. I want to try and talk to chat while I'm doing this reaction, but that song completely sucked me in, so let's see what I missed out on. Hopefully I missed out on something. Something good. Zaina has coffee in the chat, so that's good. Someone's got beer. Outrageous. I hope you are of legal age in your precinct or territory. Oh, I see. So Pila says Namjoon's parents weren't supportive to her to write in secret. Well, that's just like a whole other level that's sad to me. I wish I could say I relate, but the people around me right now are very supportive. Well, for the most part, ish. But as a kid, my parents were not supportive of my video gaming career, so I kind of can relate, really, you know? Oh, Brooks dropped some wisdom in the chat. Being good at something you don't even like creates expectations for a future you don't want. Ooh, wow. Is Brooks secretly RM's moniker? Interesting. And Zayn has clarified that as well, saying RM struggled with the fact that he excelled academically, but his love was for music, so it must have been hard for him to be an idol instead of doing that. See, that makes perfect sense. And that is the thing. And I can definitely relate to that, because I think that's part of the reason why, you know, this whole YouTube thing is a constant battle of wits in my head and insecurities and all that kind of stuff, is the knowledge that, you know, I do have other skills. You know, saying other skills says that I count this as a skill, which sounds, you know, bold and brash, but I do have other skills, you know, and I show some of those off on this channel. Like, you know, I'm a video editor, for example. Before I did this stuff, I was doing video editing, making way more money than I am right now. But it's not really about that. You know, I enjoy this a lot more, and I enjoy the freedom it gives me a lot more. But there are obviously many sleepless nights, you know, playing Lego Star Wars till 4 in the morning, just thinking about kind of focusing on that thing of like, how irresponsible am I being? Should I just be doing video editing when, you know, I don't hate it. You know, it's actually, you know, it's nice. I like video editing. Obviously, it's less fun than making your own stuff if you're editing someone's boring SEO video. Cough, my ex-employer. But it's not the worst job ever, of course, and it pays well. So I completely understand that thing of thinking, you know, am I being irresponsible by following my dreams? It definitely gets in your head, like a lot, frequently. The self-doubt is real. Whew. Anyway. Steve says, I'm a year from graduating uni and realize I don't enjoy it at all. But I feel like I don't know what else I would do and study. And that is the problem with university, especially in certain countries where you can't change your subject very easily. And, you know, and you're made to choose the subject you want to do for the rest of your life, age 17 or 16. Like, no one knows what they want to be age 16. No one really knows what they want to be age 25 even. You know, that can change over time. So, you know, university is like, either you get very lucky and you like what you do, or you do something that pays the bills and then you wonder what could have been. Like, it's a whole thing. Anyway, what's up, Alicia? And being forced in the wrong direction hurts a lot, says Wild, which is very true. It feels worse when someone else put you in that position. So next up, we have Do You, which has a music video. Hopefully, Hybe is chill about this. We'll see. If I'm watching music videos and there's copyright issues, I'll switch to just lyric videos. But I'd like to see the music videos. Oh, it's unlisted. Hopefully that means it'll be okay. Like this beat a lot, very cool. And the aesthetic I recognize from the mixtape cover. Okay, I like this video a lot. Okay, the subtitles aren't baked in, fair enough. Here we go. Brilliant. It's so true though, like, seriously, find me a self-help book that isn't written by a con man or like a sociopath, you know what I mean? It's just grifting, it's just like legalized grifting. In lieu of therapy, self-help books is capitalism's cheap answer to therapy that doesn't work and is just a complete scam and a waste of money. I like that a lot. See, we're just talking about that, chat. Genre is a trap. And I feel like, what he's saying, genre is a trap in real life, and that kind of refers as well to, you know, the subjects you think you have to do, getting stuck in thinking you have to be a banker or an engineer or something, you know. Nice. See, there's the thing about BTS. They're so prolific that they can make, you know, all these artsy albums and these albums that branch loads of genres, and then RM can still drop really, really good rap mixtapes. So he can still be. I mean, he is the rapper he always wanted to be, but he can still just purely do rap. He has so much like opportunity, and it's also so impressive, like how much stuff they put out. Like this is, you know, this is so far a very, very good rap album. Was this like a rare hint at sexuality in BTS work? Early BTS work. Here's some underwear. So presumably he's now once more addressing either his haters or the people that, you know, people in the Korean underground maybe that say, you know, that can't be hip hop. Which is ironic as well, because, you know, if you follow that line of thinking too far, you could get really pretentious and be like, well, anything Korean's not hip hop because hip hop was invented in America. Like it's ridiculous. And I love his example. Is ASAP not hip hop? I'm presuming he's referring to ASAP Rocky, but ASAP Rocky, and also, what does he say next? I think it was, yeah, and Kanye. ASAP and Kanye, obviously huge fashion icons right now. Like they're at this point, they're more like fashion, especially ASAP Rocky. He's more of a fashion icon than he is a rapper at this point. He doesn't really put out much music anymore. Like, but he's obviously, but he's still one. You know, he's still. They're both still in like list of top rappers ever. You know, like as if the stuff you wear defines your music. I like how much he pushes back against these like ridiculous limitations. See, it's so true. It's like that thing of like, you know, do what you want, and if that means following people around you, that's fine, but don't ever think to yourself that you're being unique by following a different set of people. It's like how, you know, that thing, you know, in school, there's usually an alternative group. You know, when I was in school, it was like emo. I don't know if it's like different now. Maybe it's like sad boy rap. Maybe it's like Fortnite cosplay. I've got no idea. I haven't been to school in a while, thank God. But, you know, it was like emo. And the biggest, most pretentious emos were just as bad as like the sports bros they railed against or the cool kids, because they had their own definition of what was cool and what was acceptable. And if you didn't wear what they were wearing, you weren't welcome in their group. The only difference between them and the cool kids was that they were slightly less cool. That was it. Like, it's definitely much cooler and much more like brave or, you know, bold, original to wear whatever you want and to not care what people think. I don't do that. I worry about what people think of me, but I know that it's supposed to be cooler, so I agree. That's a great line. Oh my god. This music video is great. Was that an eyeball in his mouth? That is grim. That is a wow. Like imagery-wise, good, but ugh, grim. That is grim. What's he trying to tell us here? That he likes ladies' underwear and eyeballs? Wow, freedom and self-indulgence are definitely different, and that's so true. Oh, there's so many Americans that could stand to learn that lesson, freedom and self-indulgence, because there's people out there that are basically man-children or adult children that think freedom is basically whenever you get to do whatever you want. That's not what freedom is. That's self-indulgence. That's a brilliant line. Oh, RM's great. And looking great doing it, if I may say so. I like this lo-fi beat, it's cool. It bops. Nice. I like the kind of chaotic urgency in the beat. Obviously, it's very groovy and catchy, but it also really kind of plays into that kind of like the chaotic madness he's getting at. And also all these voices talking at you, telling you how you should be. I'm really getting that vibe from the outro here. The Sonic the Hedgehog hairstyle looks good on you, RM. Bring it back. Bring it back. Alright. Alright. Loving this mixtape so far. That was great. Let's see what I missed in the chat so far. Ada says, "Do you is amazing." I agree. I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page, because if people in the chat were like, you know what, I hate this song, I'd be like, I don't know how to relate to you, honestly. RM3 and Hopewell 2 are on the way this year. That's amazing. That's crazy. Again, their output is crazy. And Converse. Okay. So that was Do You. And now we're going to do the Awakening lyric video. I'm hearing the words "do you" again. You know what? I take everything I just said back about him, you know, being very musically creative and productive. He's reusing the same lyric. It's laziness, and I won't stand for it. I can think of 6 individuals, and they're all me. Can't survive in this cold world, just feel my vibe. I know, one day at a time, the sun gon' shine. I lost too many friends, you know that I did lost too many clans. Being a singer, I lost too many bands. I couldn't help but spit and spit, kept repeating too many days. Gonna let my eyes watch too many ends. Outside was a whole battlefield, so I bring out the chopper. 밤마다 내 안에 있는 나 스스로 와서 심장을 뛰고 내 동료들은 내 뒤통수를 쳐. 회사 가더니 병신다 했다며. Yeah, fuck you, I'm an idol. Yeah, I'm an idol. 한때 싫었지만 나 I love to get it title. 방송 나와. Now this is one of the songs I remember hearing in the Rising Stars of BTS video, and being very, very like impressed with. So it's good to hear the whole thing. I just love the raw emotion in this, and like the kind of like, it's not even rage, it's just like, it's like contempt, or it's like when someone, you know, criticizes you too much and you just kind of start standing up for yourself. That's what, you know, this feels like him standing up for himself in a good way. And it's that taking the power back of words, it's saying, I love that title, keep calling me that. Oh, I like that. The words are not wordplay, it's a warplay, the world plays. That's brilliant. He's saying this is, you know, this is like a call to violence that the world plays, as in this is a call to violence everyone hears. And again, unfortunately, this, you know, a lot of this is over my head, but I can tell from the way he's blending Korean and English in there that, you know, there's incredible lyrical skill and lyricism going into this song. You know, like the duolingo-ness. Oh, is that copyright? Can I say that? The duality of the lingo. Let's say that. The duality of the lingo. Duality lingo. That's my Duolingo knockoff. It's really impressive. And I kind of like, I'm not sure that's its intention here, but I like that he's saying, you know, when I step on the stage, he's going to be by my side. It's almost like he's saying, You know, why would I ever care about my haters when all that matters is your friends? You know, all that matters is the people around you, the people you love. Like, you know, like the people that are least important are the ones talking shit about you. I like that. It's like taking the power away from people that talk badly about you because they don't have anything to offer you. Wow. This is excellent so far. Cool. I like the moody piano outro as well. It's like the intro for like a British crime show. Whew. Okay, wow. Wow. Oh, I missed this. They said the behind the scenes of the MV for, what was it, Do You? Apparently all the other members visited him, which is it's so easy to imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if the lady showing her underwear was just like Jimin in a wig or something. And it's so true. Heather Slaughter says all it does is give haters ammo. The more they know, the more energy those a-holes have to wait. Right. But actually, I read your comment the other way around immediately. The first time I read it because my ADHD. I read what I wanted to hear, but I think you can also look at it the other way around, which is that haters talking about them gives them something to write about. So it's like if you don't like their success and you're jealous of their success, then complaining about their success gives them an avenue to make more songs and get more successful. So it's kind of like a delicious karma, a delicious irony that all these people do is complain about them, and they take those weak complaints and turn them into like art. I think it's like they remix misery and turn it into like dankness. It's pretty cool. I think. I understand the logic of not giving it energy, and I think they don't do it as much these days, and also like they don't directly like mention these people. It's much more of an insult and just it's so much more cool when you just kind of like you just mention them in passing and don't even give them like an actual name. What's up, Heyo? And Nandana says, it amazes me he was just 20 when he released this mixtape, which is ridiculous. When I think about what I was doing when I was 20, nothing I'd really want to publish, and I would be proud of looking back, I made some okay jokes to rooms of people. That's about it. Yeah. Wow. That really puts... Thank you... No, thank you for saying that. That puts it in... That makes me want to quit. That makes everyone want to quit. That's ridiculous. 20 years old. So that was Awakening, and next up we have Monster. Already sounds great. What's up, Addy? I'm glad you made it for a live. And what's up, Carolyn? What a soulful hamster song. Thanks for your measurements. This beat is great. Didn't like V or something end up becoming the voice of like a Lion King translation? I don't know why my brain's telling me that. If it's telling me that, I'm going to assume it might be true. I don't know. This flow is tasty. Tasty. I like this ADHD flow. It's like his flow is late to the beat. It's late to the party in a really cool... the flow shows up wearing shades. Like, yeah, I'm 2 hours late, and the party doesn't start until I walk in. That's his flow right now. It's great. League of Legends, alright. Left side, right side. I appreciate the youthful confidence in these lyrics, and I feel like you really have to have them, especially when you're young and starting out in an industry like this. Like, I feel like it's a confidence I've almost stepped away from to my detriment. Like, just the fact that he called himself a rap monster, it almost sounds obnoxious at the front of it, but I think if you want to succeed in this kind of industry and you really want to, you know, like, you have to trust your instincts, you have to trust your skills, and you have to think to yourself, I am enough. Like, I'm not just enough, I'm good. I'm great even. And that's what his name says. It's a way of him being like, okay, I'm not going to hide behind this. And there's times, like, my insecurity can lead to me being like, all right, I'm only going to put one laughing emoji on this video title. I don't think I was funny enough today to justify 2 laughing emojis. But if I was, you know, sensible, I'd fill the whole title with laughing emojis and make it so nobody could have, you know, avoid clicking on it. It's like, it really is about having the confidence to believe that you are worthy of being listened to. Or beyond that, like I said, that you are really talented, which this guy obviously is. The image of RM as a giraffe is a bit disturbing. Alright. Yeah, this is you know, there's a bit fewer sexual references in his raps these days, to his detriment. I want to hear RM talking about popping panties a bit more. My panties are definitely a little bit moist.
Oh shit, that was childish. Don't worry, 난 존나 잘 살지. 오늘은 Singapore, 내일은 Taiwan, bitch. I'm so busy popping tags, you so busy shining next, bitch. Left side, right side, 이 rhythm을 느낀다면 여기로.
I like that it took like what 4 or 5 tracks to get to like, you know, a slightly less intense song, a song that you can vibe to without having your brain torn in half. Oh, that's a great line. And I love that he said translate. It's so perfect as well. You know, I've been thinking about language that way for a long time. Like the mindfuckiness of how when you speak, you're translating these, you know, these electrical impulses, these subconscious thoughts that you can't even begin to comprehend in the English language. Like the ways your, you know, neurons can fire are basically infinite. You know, the English language or the Korean language, whatever, is usually between like 50,000, 100,000 words. The ratio of how many thoughts and feelings you can have to actual ways you can express those is not even on the, you know, it's off the scale. Like, language is pitifully poor as a way of expressing emotion. So when someone says, I can translate any emotion into lyrics, they're saying, that's how good I am with language. I can make any emotion into language, even though it's basically impossible to do. He's definitely more salty in this album. That's a pretty great way of speaking to a hater. Be like, this wasn't even aimed at you anyway. Like, this isn't for you. It's like if you give your mum some flowers and someone on the street's like, I don't like those flowers. You're like, mate, these flowers aren't for you. So pipe down. R to the M, I'm a motherfucking monster. Left side, right side. It's like the Pied Piper. I'm following him. I feel it. Cool. Well, not really been a miss so far on this album. It's pretty great so far. Oh, and that's a banger as well, of course. Anyway, before I get sucked into playing Dang, which is obviously not in the right universe. So that was Monster. Next up is Throwaway. Before I throw away the next reaction, anything in the chat I should have seen. So Zayna said RM's been in the rap scene since he was 14. He was popular in the rap forums back in the day, which makes sense. Like, imagine a 14-year-old posting those kind of rhymes. Yeah, okay. Heyo said, when I became a BTS stan and I first heard a mixtape, I gained a stronger admiration for RM. And it's so true. Like, I think it really helped me appreciate the individual talent of these guys and appreciate like how they differ in some ways from other artists that get labeled as like pop. You know, their individual skill was like seeing the rap line doing their thing on an individual level. Like, it made me realize like, oh, these guys are like serious artists. Because if you're new to a band and you watch them and they're as huge as BTS, it's easy to think like, oh, they might just be like performing lyrics somebody else wrote. But then when you see this kind of stuff, it's like, oh no, like these guys are legit. Like, wow. Like, this is like, like he could easily have had, that's the thing about him, he could easily have had a rap career by himself, just by himself. I very much believe that because, like, with songs that good, the only way you wouldn't do was if basically the industry decided not to like you. Because, there's obviously a very big element in the music industry of, like, kind of getting lucky on knowing the right people, getting the right audition, whatever it is. But he has the raw talent to be a huge rapper in his own right. And so does Sugar, so does J-Hope, like, that's the power of BTS, is how good the members are individually. It's kind of crazy, really. Steve says, if June call me a bitch, I love it. Yeah, well, you do you. Everyone has their own things, I love how he rhymes Korean and English. I'm definitely appreciating that more in this, especially in the slightly slower songs. It's really cool. I mean, it's impressive. It makes, if you only speak one language, it makes you feel like a sack of turds. Let's just say that. Carolyn says it's 5 a.m. Well, it's fine if you're half asleep. That means you probably only will listen to half of what I'm saying, which is probably a good ratio. And Nandana says, RM and Mono are night and day, which is so true so far. So it'll be very interesting to see what his third mixtape is like. Anyway, let's get Throwaway cracking. Because I guess I'm making okay progress on this. I guess it won't take forever. That's good. That's a relief. Okay. Well, if you said it, I have to do it. He's clucking at me. He's become a chicken. Like, all right. Oh, this is like Linkin Park. Here it is, the banger. It's coming, I can feel it. Nice. Oh, it's kind of got some like pendulum vibes as well. Interesting. Like this is a song you hear and you're like, yeah, this was made by a 20-year-old rapper, for sure. It's hard to imagine RM making this kind of track these days. Big pendulum vibes in this. I like it. All right. I've got to pick this line apart. Apologies to the chat, but got automatic dick. See, the thing that's making me think is, well, if he's bragging about that, presumably most people don't have an automatic. I've probably got a manual dick, a manual operation. I'm wondering what benefits am I missing out on by not having an automatic dick. Like, if I was go to the shop and upgrade, what would I be gaining with the automatic cock? Is what I'm wondering. I'm liking the wubby background. This isn't just the most lit line ever written. Shove it into your mouth and cheer up, this is homemade food. It's too early in the morning for me, which is embarrassing to admit. I woke up quite recently. Too recently for the fact that it's actually the afternoon. I feel like I'm not high energy enough for this, but I like it. I like the very 2013, 2014 EDM noises in there. But also not even that, like it's more throwbacky than that. Like the last chorus or the last verse had quite a wubby, like early dubstep kind of sound. But this fire breakdown really does have a pendulum sound. Like it sounds like, you know, early 2000s like drum and bass. It's cool. Does Snoop Dogg say la-di-da-di? That sounds too chill for him. I can see this being a very good workout track. He knows what he's doing, you know? You can't have a mixtape as a 20-year-old rapper full of emotional jams without having some uncut, energetic jams, you know? Oh, apparently a Snoop Dogg collaboration is coming. Wow. That's how you know you made it. Whew. Alright, well, I'm gonna stop thinking about RM's automatic winky for a second. Whew. That was throwaway, right? ADHD, I'm getting lost. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is joke. All right. This song was made for rioting. I'll put that in my time to burn down capitalism playlist. Okay, Ada says this sounds like a Eurovision song, and in my head I'm like, that's like a massive diss, but then that's because, you know, I come from the country that has the worst entries every single year, just like to the point of it's shameful. It's shameful how bad the British entries are to Eurovision. And when everyone's like, oh, you know, people in the British press cry, and they're like, the only reason we lost is because people don't like us. It's like, well, that's probably a valid reason too, but also because the music was fucking shit, mate. I don't know if you noticed that bit. All right, so next up we have G. No, I just opened throwaway again. So let's just try that again. Next up, we have joke, maybe. Ooh. Oh my goodness, he used the Run the Jewels beat. I'm guessing. Nope, yep, definitely, I recognize this. Impressive. The way that, you know, that saying the word yeah becomes rap and hardcore is when you put it down with the computer to go, yeah, that's manly and cool. Going yeah and isn't very good. Oh, yeah, that's what it's at. He just insulted me on like a biotin level. What is this? I'm elastin. You're Dendra. Jesus Christ. He just insulted my genetics, but in a way that's like kosher. Wow. I like how he's made wearing a straitjacket look cool. Because he just looks like, at first glance, like one of those youths hanging out at a bus stop, like, you know, just like chilling, you know. But he's in a straitjacket. It's funny that I think this is, you know, very, very common as well. But it is interesting, you know, because you can see the evolution of the artist by obviously looking at his older stuff. And as much as he talked in the first few tracks about not caring about people's styles and moving away from that, he's also falling into that, you know, kind of old rap trope of being like, well, ladies don't like you, but the ladies like me, which is good. Fedora tip. It's cute, you know, I get it. Like, he's 20 years old, and it's cool to see the progression. And the inverse of that, like, the, you know, the difference. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is a good translation video. They got like footnotes, the spark notes in there. No separation like a happily married couple. Interesting. So they're saying there's no actual divorce like a happy married couple. As in, there's no, you know, you'll never see a bigger breakup than a happy married couple. Interesting. Oh, I see. You don't need to stand like a heavenly woman, but he's saying a true woman never needs an erection, or a true woman can always produce an erection. Shock. Isn't it interesting choice to brag about having a beat on a song where you are using another artist's beat? Like this is a Run the Jewels beat. He probably wrote this and then was like, which beat should I use? And they were like, Run the Jewels, and he was like, oh, but there's a line in here about having my bar. Pig feet loving. What does that mean? I like that. I so respect that, because, you know, I've had times when I've been like, oh, is ComedianReacts too bold? Like, should I change it? You know, what RM's saying is right. You choose the name that you think defines you. You choose the name that, you know, even if you choose it despite the fact that a part of you deep down is like, but if you call yourself comedian, or if you call yourself Rap Monster, that means you have to live up to that moniker every single time. But then you tell yourself, no, I am going to live up to that moniker. I do live up to that moniker. By existing, I live up to that moniker. I love that. His name is the greatest last name ever. I'm never changing my name ever, ever. And yeah, good for him. And luckily, it's not like he called himself, you know, like Big Dicky Rap Monster. He just called himself Rap Monster. It's something that, even if you say it's like slightly cheesy, it's never gonna like become problematic or age out or like be weird. Speaking of this line, what a diss! If you watch porn, you come in 3 seconds. That's just, oh, I don't know. I think that's insulting everyone who. I think that's insulting himself as well. Gay. This is pretty cool. This has got like this has got vibes of like in one of his songs on this like last album or the album before, Eminem was making fun of like mumble rappers and like stutter rappers and just started doing their style. And this is like just like that. I mean, he's he's doing their style in a way that it works. It shows not only can I do this style, I can make it comedic, and it doesn't really sound that different. Bibbidi babbidi, nimmity nammity, jiggity jammity. It goes hard, fam. Unironically goes hard.
완전히 꼭지가 don't rap 네 랩은 한마디만 할게 don't rap 내 don't rap 니가 원래 랩이 아니다 나 no rap 그래 넌 친구의 여자가 chill 소중하게 자리가 chill 아 근데 생각해보니까 비었던 적은 내가 떼고 이미 다 부를게 임질 pop rock
I like the translator's notes there. Too much wordplay. All wordplay, too much to explain. And I can kind of tell that. I was like, he's going somewhere very specific with this. He's setting up some puns that are way over my head. Like, I like that the market for fully comprehending this rap is the people that speak Korean and English fluently. It's a small market, but you know, he is the king of that market.
You know I ain't about the thousands, let me ride it. You're dropping, swapping, rocking, mocking, stocking, locking in my pocket, just full of monsters. Yeah, I get him in the best, get him in the wrist. Heavily added on the son of a beach. Now, most of the be not my son of a peak. Now, the grandma's a son of a stitch. Yeah, man, I told you that I'm a monster. That's why I be rapping nonstop. I do want your hands at the concert. What the fucking gang hands at the concert?
Alright, I'll keep that in note. If I get to go to BTS concert, I'm going to show you my hands, man. There were no breaks in the subs, he did not breathe. Although, saying that, let's give credit where credit's due, or the opposite of that. You know, it's pretty normal in rap to record all your verses separately for a thing like this. It's possible he didn't. I mean, he's very skilled, but usually in rap, for a studio version, to make it sound good, they'll record the verses separately. Everyone does that. It's not a shameful thing to do. But anyway, just throwing it out there. Whew, Jesus. I hope that, you know, because I'm exhausted just listening to that, like... All right. Some firsts in this chat. That's for sure. J. Big Hoyer says, if you've never listened to the original song that I the beat from, you should. Yeah, Oh My Darling by Run the Jewels it's one of the, like, it took me a while to get into Run the Jewels because their beats are so out there that at first I was like, no, I don't like this. This is just noise. And after a while I was like, yeah, no, this is noise that I like now. It took a while, but it's definitely worth listening to the original track. Yeah, that, and Nadana says it's him proving he can speed rap. Absolutely. I mean, like, that was very speedy rap. Let's be clear on that. That was the speediest rap I've heard in a while. So he's proved it. Winston says, comedian, I admire your ability to read at the speed of light because I cannot keep up. That's that's why that reaction might not have been as good as other reactions I do, all of which are, you know, supreme quality. Is that I was mostly busy reading the lyrics, and it was just like there were so many of them in my head. I was like, if I stop to talk about all these lines, I'll never ever stop ever talking. This live stream will just go on until I eventually expire. So good shit though, good shit. Alright, so that was Joke MV. I should really keep track of what I was listening to. I think that was Joke MV. I'm going to do the ADHD anxiety thing. I'm just double checking, even though I know it was. Yeah. Ovs. Anyway, God Rap is next. Just prove to myself I don't believe in myself. God Rap. I like that. I mean, you know, this track has got a lot to live up to. He's called himself Rap Monster, and he's called his track God Rap. So, you know, he's done the thing of being like, no, I believe in myself. I believe this is, in fact, God's rap. Here we go. Heather Slaughter says, there's no right way to react. Your reacting is just fine. My reacting is middle porridge, people. More soulful hamster noises. A chipmunk sings into the void. A chipmunk narrates its journey from life to the cradle to the grave. Alright, I like this beat. I don't like the way they've written these lyrics. It's very cool and stuff, it's very much like, oh, I downloaded the font pack in the year 2002, but it's not very easy to read. But we'll work with it. I'm a pro. Is this album on like iTunes and stuff like that? Spotify, or do you have to like get it on SoundCloud? Now, RM is not a medical man, let's just be clear on that. He's not a doctor, but he has said even when someone is dying, they can still snore. I guess he's talking about the death rattle people talk about. In relation to what, though? Thank God I can dream. So he's saying even when you're on the verge of death, you can still dream, I think. Nice. I think that's a great way to put it in context, because I feel like if somebody asked me that question, would you rather be born as anyone else again? Who would you choose? I think I'd probably pick myself. Maybe I'd pick RM, actually. Maybe I'd pick RM. But second place, close second, I'd choose myself. So even on the days that aren't the best, and even if there's loads of those days, if I'm like, well, I'd still be, trapped in this body feeling weird and trapped in someone else's body feeling weird. That's a comfort. Ooh, he's getting all metaphysical on us now. Okay, there's no shadow in the fire, which is, it's like that thing of like, every light is bright, and even in the dark. So in the middle of the fire, there's no shadow. So the question is if I'll become the fire or I'll become the light. Or if those two are one and the same. That's the other question. I like that statement. I don't need a religion because I'm my own god. But it's not like, the phrasing's very deliberate. I don't have any religion because I am my own god. He's not said I don't have any religion because I am God. He's saying I am my own god, and that's so true in the sense that all we know about the universe, all we have is our own view of things. The only viewpoint, the only perspective we can rely on, the only truth we can rely on really is that which we see with our own eyes, hear with our own ears, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not as obnoxious as being like, I'm God. It's just saying, in this universe contained in my own body, like, I am my own God. That's the only thing I have. Right, that's what he's saying. I have to deal with stuff myself because I am my own God. He's also admitting he only has two hands. I secretly thought he had a third, but I think I was wrong. Oh, this is classic negging, It's something that sounds like a compliment, it's actually a deep insult. It's genius. At one time I aspired to rap just like you. If you hear that, you're like, oh, thank you. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Like, it's genius. Interesting. So it's like he was saying, at the time, even though I didn't realize it, I still kind of had the same goals, the same drives. So, I was the same person deep down, but now I can actually see who I am more clearly. Foolish humanity. Foolish human. But again, he's making good on his promise from earlier. He's sharing that wisdom and he's sharing that positivity with people. So he's spent most of the song, being like, I am my own universe, I am my own God. But then at the end, he's saying, and that's true of you as well. All you have to do is believe in yourself. I like this. I really like where, because I probably had a certain idea of what it's called God rap. I thought it would be him flexing, but it really wasn't. It was him saying quite a wholesome message overall. It's like a wholesome message hidden in a message that sounds the opposite of wholesome. It's clever. Like you might trick egotistical people into listening to it and being like, actually, wait a second. Like it's saying, it's more about self-belief. It's saying you can become your own God by believing in yourself. I loved it. He ended with sucker rather than amen. Perfect. I was about to be like, he ended with amen. Great callback. Grateful for that. And he just like sucker. I just couldn't resist it. Brilliant. I like that even more. Okay, that was God rap. So I remember. So next up we got Rush. So I don't make the same mistake again. Whew. I like what RM has said here. RM in the chat said religion is a belief, and the only thing we need to believe in. Sometimes the only thing we need to believe in is ourselves. Yep. Facts. Spitting some bars there. The only one we should believe in is ourselves. It's true. And our friends sometimes. People tried to cancel RM over these lyrics. Was it just the fact that he said, I am my own God? Was it religious people being like, that's an outrage? Because if so, yawn. Zaina said, do you think you might watch recent Permission to Dance live performances, at least for songs you reacted to already? Yeah? I feel like I already did do one anyway, but yeah. Alright, so Rush is up next. That's why I thought people tried to cancel RM because he basically said he was an atheist. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can try and cancel me for being an atheist, but this isn't 1642, so it might be a bit hard, but, go off on that, fam. Ada said, I feel like the song is showing him in his middle of the self-searching road from youth to mono. You can see a seed of the emotional soul-searching part of mono, but without the melancholy. Yeah, it's very, and that was very much there in the first 4 tracks as well, but it's still got that youthful kind of fist swinging, coming out swinging, kind of just like braggadociousness to it. It is very interesting. Arguably it might have been better if I'd done this one first, then mono, but I like mono. I like mono so much that, I added the whole thing to my, library and stuff. I think I even paid money for it, so you can thank me for that, RM. But so it's a mixtape I know well, so it is interesting thinking about the difference between mono and this one. Well, I think it's possible to combine the love yourselves and the religion. Yeah, definitely. And I've got nothing against religion. Because, my personal views on religion is it was an excellent way of giving people a good moral code back when police weren't really police is a bad example, especially in America. But back when, there was no, there weren't kind of stricter societal things and you could get away with, bopping someone's head in a lot easier. Religion was a good way of being so for all of you people out there with, personality disorders and who are secret serial killers, this is stuff you shouldn't do because somebody might do something to you about it. And that still applies. Like, most of the moral lessons of religion are still very applicable in this day and age. I got nothing against, religion as a concept or whatever. I'm not religious myself anymore. But, I absolutely agree that you could be religious and still practice self-love or whatever. But I think in a way, that's almost why some people like RM feel the need to make these kind of songs, or they kind of link that because, because obviously the thing about religion is it was, like any human form of society or any human thing, any human club really, it got corrupted inevitably. Any gathering of humans some sociopath will try and climb to the top and corrupt it and then control everyone. That's just like inevitable. Whether it be, a country, a religion, or just like a local youth club, it's gonna happen. A comedy club especially. I can't even tell you what comedy clubs are like. Unbelievable. But, point being, I feel like for a while there was a kind of, this, like, religion would push the idea, or religious people would push the idea that you can't be moral if you're not religious, or you can't actually practice self-love if you aren't religious. Obviously, that's not true and stuff. But it's also, on the flip side, it's true that you obviously can do both. You can have self-love and not be religious. You can have self-love and be religious. They're not really linked necessarily. So, anyway. Yeah, I used to be a lot more edgy about religion because I was raised Christian and I hated going to church. My parents made me go to church and all that kind of stuff, and I grew to resent it because it was just the most tedious, like... And I didn't even realize that's not even, like, Christianity's fault. That's just, like, white Christianity's fault. Like, when I see, like, footage of, like... Not even necessarily, I guess, black churches in America have a certain reputation for being, like, way more upbeat and fun and actually nice. A place you might want to actually go to and have a good time, which is probably what church... If Jesus is real, he'd be like, yes, please make it fun. It's worshipping me, and if worshipping me is miserable, then what am I as a person? That's an insult, my friend. And I think, obviously it's not like all white churches are like that, but in the UK, there's a lot of, like, dreary Victorian Christian churches where you sing, like, bread of heaven, like, and it's just, and as a kid it might as well be, mental torture. It might as well be being dropped in Guantanamo and having, like, metal blast into your eardrums, for like 10 hours straight till you go loopy. It's like it's just like the most, especially as an ADHD child, undiagnosed ADHD child, like, church might as well have been waterboarding. It was horrible. So yeah, I felt edgy about it for a while, about religion, and now I'm just, like, indifferent, Like I said, I think the moral teachings are mostly pretty good, and it, like anything, when a lot of humans get together, someone's gonna try and make it, sad for everyone. That's humanity's fault. Now, Chris Galiko is a name I recognize. It's actually pretty impressive that he's got a feature like this, in his first mixtape. Oh, I like these lyrics. Even after hearing a little funny little Oprah joke, I didn't think we'd get into some real shit already. I love this. You could be the biggest star in the world. Doesn't matter. One day you're going to leave the world. Doesn't that put life into perspective for you? Once you've achieved this stardom you look for, then what? Life is finite anyway. But they're trying to put a rush on it. And it is like, typically people that are trying to become stars, that usually happens 20s, 30s, maybe later than that. But that's when you're starting to really become aware of mortality and you start thinking, oh God, like, when is this going to happen? I'm definitely in that stage. But, you don't need to put a rush on it. You don't want to ruin, the moment of being in it. But you're also thinking in the back of your head, like, when's this going to happen? Do I have enough time left? All that kind of stuff. Oh, this is good. I wanna be the one they listen to. People that broke their ears, I provoke the fears in them. Who should think about when she kissing you when the smoke clears, I provoke the tears in them. They cry.
this to do with the thing on his eye, then I can open a wide. I can put the feelings of women aside when it is feeling the vibe. Money for a kind of win a fiat. Big out, the son of a genius in a re-op. Be-up, the cricket out of battle world, prenup. He about to take a real far like a pre-op. So make it to the top of this here and get it popping.
Far like a Prius, interesting.
Put on your center shades, block them out your ocular.
Feels like I'm the biggest one. I rock it till the wheels fall off and the feeling's gone. I'ma push it till my digits done. Races ain't given to the swiftest, but the realest one. I should be the biggest star in the world. I should be from every girl. Gotta put a rush on her. Help me put a rush on her. And you could be the biggest star in the world. Don't matter when day you're gonna leave the world. Try to put a rush on her.
Ooh, that really puts context on the whole line.
Put a rush on her. The only voice still ruling my world. Spreading my voice through the whole world. Keeping shining like a pearl. Taking money here and off new bitches and older girls. Making all the lists flip five and TikTok and 6'5". They lazy after them off the curl. Y'all monster just trying to get by. Y'all call it, we trying to get high. Gonna be odds, get ready to die more.
I mean, he's flexing on this track. You know, he's featuring with a pretty well-known rapper, I think, and he's flexing on it. And honestly, you know, he's looking better so far. I really like the way Chris Calico's bit started off, and then towards the end, it just seemed to kind of like, you know, devolve into kind of like competent rhymes that didn't really have too much meaning. Because I really like the way he was going with the whole thing about, about mortality and how that can affect your idea of trying to get famous or your idea of trying to achieve and stuff like that. And then by the end, we were just talking about how far a Prius would go. I feel like that kind of meaning was lost. Whereas I feel like RM is probably going to be bringing the emotional heat for the entire track. We'll see.
What's Korea and his mother nation, man? I'm used to my moderation, but I lose it if it give me more duration. 기억나 친구야 내 어린아 기억해봐 마냥 랩하고 다니던 어린아 I just do it keep rushing with Crease Cali 똑똑히 지켜봐라 내가 가나 어디까지 I should be the biggest star in the world.
This hook is great. And I love the 90s, classic 90s rap beat.
Just keep rushing on it. Keep rushing on it.
This song is like a breath of fresh air after the emotionally intense intro and then the quite hard, you know, banger middle. It's like a nice, you know, it's like a... Facts. Facts. That was nice. It was classy. So I'd say probably so far that's like, you know, not probably my least favorite track off the mixtape, but it's still a good track. That's like, the mixtape has been excellent so far. But, you know, the beat was really, really nice. Easy listening, I reckon. Easy listening. All right. Let's see what chat said. Heather Slaughter says, I've been trying to write a book for 15 years, and since I've come to know BTS and RM and their hard work, I have hope one day I'll publish. They motivate me. That's good. And I can kind of relate a bit to what you're saying, because there was a period where I really thought I was going to write a book, and I actually wrote 50,000 words of a book, which was about my travel experience doing a year abroad in America. And that was really important to me. But then it kind of stopped being as important to me, because I you know, for a while I was like, I really want to finish this. I'm worried because of my ADHD thing. I'll end up not finishing this, and I'll hate myself and be like, oh, I regret, you know, my life. But there's just different avenues in which you can express yourself. If that book really means a lot to you still, then go for it. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you, or it doesn't matter if you never end up finishing it. You know, if it means something to you and you work on it occasionally, then that's all. That's it. You know, that's a hobby. You can look at it as a hobby. You can look at it as a vocation, as a passion, and it's not necessarily about the finish. I think it's more about the journey. Sometimes, for me, with the book thing, I really enjoyed writing what I did write, but now I've replaced that with improv. I've replaced that with this YouTube thing. You know I have finite creative energy and stuff, and people also have finite energy in general. Like, you know, some people will do actual jobs and stuff that takes away loads of their energy. So yeah, like I definitely don't go around thinking, I don't have regret like, oh, I should have finished that book. Maybe I'll even pick it up one day, but you know, I've taken that same creative drive and put it somewhere else. So I think as long as you're just, you know, doing stuff that fulfills you, creatively, emotionally, whatever, spiritually, then it's all good. But if you want to write that book, go for it, my friend. That's what I say. A baby army. Yeah, see, that's, yeah, working full-time and a baby full-time. You've put that same energy you might have put into that book into your baby, and a baby is slightly more rewarding, I reckon, because you can see, like, you know, you write a book and that's it, whereas a baby, you kind of write the baby, like you write the baby for like 18 years or so, and then they go to college, they go away, but then they keep writing themselves, so they kind of take what you've given them and then they build on top of that, whereas books are lazy, they never write anything extra on top of what you've put in. That's it, that's done. They're selfish, I reckon. So I reckon the baby's a great use for that energy. Speaking of vocations, next up we got life. And speaking of life, I like living. If anyone feels like dropping a super chat in, this is now the part of the stream where I beg. I'll shout you out on the stream and you'll stay in this video, immortalized on this video, which will have hundreds to thousands of views. So think about that. But next up we got life. How many tracks have we got left? We got only 3 tracks left. This is an excellent mixtape. I can't remember if anyone answered this question earlier, but can you get this album on iTunes and Spotify, or is it like a SoundCloud only album? Because I want to download this shit immediately, is what I'm saying. Ideally, once I log off, because like when I did the mono reaction series, I then like got ADHD and then I forgot. I didn't download it for like a month after the reaction series, but I'm glad I got around to downloading it anyway. Just SoundCloud. Well, actually, I have a way of. Probably shouldn't talk about this on stream, but I have a way of ripping tracks from SoundCloud in high quality, so maybe I'll... I don't just mean like using one of those like websites that's like download from SoundCloud and you get like 128 kilobits, which is garbaggio. No, I mean downloading from SoundCloud in their server quality, so I might do that. Okay. Oh, I feel emotions and mood coming on again. I knew it. We had the moody intro, the party middle bit, then a little like chill track to build us up for the emotional outro. Oh god. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go, RM. Jesus, mate. It's Friday, like I said. I felt after drinking a glass of alcohol to live is to continue to learn about the loneliness. I can't even begin to argue with you there, but did you have to say it out loud? Alicia Laura, thank you for the super chat. It says, marry me comedian. That could be legally complicated, but thank you very much for the super chat. And Gray, thank you for the super sticker. I like the sticker you've chosen. Very appropriate. That's me and myself. This is such an emotional song, like, Jesus. Wow, and Seba's joined in. Guys, how rude. At this point, you're just interrupting the reaction. So rude. No, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, Gray. And thank you, Alicia Laura. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. This is devastating though. We never have a moment of no loneliness until we die. I don't want to believe that, even though deep down I kind of agree with that. See, RM, without realizing it, might be describing the introvert-extrovert personality type, which is very common with creative types. Because I feel like there are well, to be fair, it's all about ratios. I know people that are so extroverted, they basically never have moments they want to be alone. They do still have those moments. But people like me and RM, because we're like buddies and the same person and stuff. And thank you, RMA, for the kisses. I appreciate the kisses. Our surrounding overflows an uproarious crowd. There surely comes a moment we need to be alone. That's life. I feel like, I relate to this because I'm that way very quickly. I pivot so quickly between feeling the need to be around people and feeling the need to be like, people are gross and smelly now. I'm done. I'm going to go home. Like, it happens so quickly. God, why are these all the things I think about from the safety of my own apartment building? Like, the more I stay inside, when I actually go outside, I think, oh wow, it's so nice out here. But the trade-off is that, by going outside, you do open the possibilities, the very slim possibilities, and the possibilities that aren't worth worrying about. But it's like, you obviously are more at danger of being in a car crash if you actually get in a car. But then the flip side of that is you actually get to go out and see the mountains, for example, where I live. Like, the trade-off is usually worth it, and it's usually much better to take these small risks and to live in the moment and to not worry about what might happen, rather than to get to the end of your life and be like, oops, I hid inside a box for all of my days. But I love the way he's phrased that. Much nicer than the way I said it. Also more anxiety-inducing. A light can truly only be a light in the darkness. That's so true. I mean, that is my problem when I go to Home Depot or like B&Q, whatever your local shop is, and I try and buy a lamp. They've got so many there that it's just like, who cares, but they need to have a display unit where there's like one lamp and then they do like sponges for a while and then another lamp, because when they have all these lights together, it's just like, they're all just lights. Who cares? This song tricks you into thinking it isn't massively cynical, but it is kind of laced with cynicism. We want to be right, but always wrong. Well, we're born to be wrong. Perhaps that's what a life is. It sounds like just asking questions. Is life terrible? Just asking questions. It's quite deeply sad. Wow. See, the thing that's also making me realize, I don't know if I was having these thoughts age 20. I think I probably enjoyed being 20 quite a bit because I didn't think about that. I was convinced I was going to live forever and that, being around people was great and stuff. So, I don't know if I'm impressed that he was having these thoughts age 20 or sorry for him. Oh, Jesus, let's have this one go. I'm going to need several tries for my brain to even try and wrap itself around this. So life is like a friend who becomes an enemy. We end our relationship like how you fold a paper. But he's sneering at me from the other side in the exact same way. It's just that imagery of like folding it over and then like a little frowny face, a little cartoon face, like a little cartoon flipbook is just like giving you the middle fingers, and that's life. No, I wonder if this is aimed at his own parents, because it's just like some parents, I've heard some parents, it's like, this is probably about your own parents, right? Some parents don't even care about their own children when it comes to money, as in the money is more important. Or maybe he's just talking about how rich parents stereotypically like they just see their kids as like extensions of their own, you know, self-worth and their own bank accounts, kind of. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I kind of just want to turn my stream off and just go and have a sit down. But let's soldier on, shall we, in the name of professionalism. Fuck all the peace and love. I know that they are the natural enemy of success. And like, I think about this a lot. Because I often think to myself, like, why am I trying to run a social media thing? Like, why am I doing my own channel? I know I'm not cutthroat enough to do it. I don't have, you know, the self-worth, or I don't want to annoy people. I feel like to be a good business person, to be a good entrepreneur, you have to be a dick, basically. You have to be willing to like really expose yourself in ways people don't want to see you exposed. You have to be willing to get in people's faces and scream at them and be like, pay attention to me. You know, I feel bad even like asking for donations on a chat or something. Like, he's so true. Peace and love is the enemy of success. Like, it's so hard to advocate for yourself when you actually respect other people. Like, you know, it's difficult. Wow. It's interesting he's referring to life as like a sort of third character. I like the evil filter on the... Oh, Jesus. That old chestnut. The name tag on my name, would that be life or death? Is he saying, like, by giving a name to something, have you breathed life into it or have you killed it? I'm just seeing, like, a, you know, a Best Buy name tag now. And now it's depressing. Maybe he just means working retail is sad. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Well, I feel like, you know, people were saying earlier in the chat, you can see you can see the seeds of the RM in mono here. Well, yeah, absolutely. I feel like you could put this track on mono and you wouldn't really raise an eyebrow. Like, okay. Wow. Yeah, that was one of those like BTS like gut punch songs. Like, it just makes you think like this was almost made to like break reactors, because if it connects with you, then you're gonna stop doing the reaction thing. It's gonna overwhelm your brain and senses. Oh, that was a lot. Whew. Okay. His voice is like a soft and warm floor. Accurate. Zaina said, I can see the life escaping your eyes. Well, thank you for making it come back slightly. That's what I'm talking about. How are you supposed to do a reaction when the lyrics you're reading are shutting down your soul? Like, God. Okay, now Dana said it's not about his parents. It's him saying, I understand why people I considered friends backstab me because even the relationship between parents and kids, way with around money, interesting. It's too early to fall into a depression. Sometimes not understanding Korean by ear is a blessing with BTS. That's so true. It's so you can listen to the bops and then, you know, ignore the bit where they sing about depression. What the hell just happened there? Okay, so that was Life, and it ironically stole mine from me, so that's cool. Next up we have Adrift. This sounds slightly more cheerful. It sounds like a Nintendo intro, so let's hope it follows that. Although the title Adrift isn't giving me a lot of confidence. I already feel like half my energy and life force has been stolen from me. I'm also wondering if that's like temporary or if it's permanent. Like if by listening to BTS like on camera a lot has taken most of my life force. It's possible. Whew, okay. Thank you very much for the super cool sticker, Evrad. Appreciate you. Oh boy, here we go. Can we not have like a slightly upbeat song after you just like ripped my own serotonin out of my brain, RM? Like just for a second. Maybe it's gonna get more upbeat, I guess we'll see. Nope. That's a no. That's a big old no. Now, me and RM should have a big old sit down and chat about mental health sometime. Thanks for the life emojis, Heather. Appreciate it. Emojis are all powerful. I've always thought this, but they say we live for happiness. I didn't understand what it even means, and it's so easy to get into that mindset. And I think because I think the last time I felt consistently happy was like a summer for a few weeks, a few years ago. And then before that, it was like 7 or 6 years before that where I felt consistent happiness and emotions. And I think when you're in this rut, which some people, unfortunately, goes on for years or decades, some people it's only like weeks or months, some people it's only hours, those bastards. But when you're in this rut where you don't like, the world is less sparkly and everything has less meaning, you can easily forget what it used to feel like, what that means like. I only remember it now in small glimpses, or like if I have a really good day, or like, or if I have a very strong memory. So, yeah, I completely understand this. Like, you can really get into a mindset where you don't even know what happiness means because you haven't experienced it in so long. 알수도 볼 수도 없는 것들이 세상에 너무도 많은 것 같아 시간이 가면 알게 된다던 어른들의 말 따위 들리지 않아 행복하자 입에 매일 달고 살아도 사실 난 아직도 모르겠어 Probably should just direct the song at a therapist, mate. Honestly. It's disturbing me that they've written out "lost in you who" and the H. It looks like the you-hoo glue. Lost in the glue. Oh, yeah. My reaction from now on is getting worse. It's just going to be me moaning in pain. Is it like, yeah. That's just what happened. I just moaned in pain, emotional pain.
좋아 끝없이 표류해 끝없이 표류해 끝없이 표류해 끝없이 표류해 끝없이 표류해 끝없이 표류해
8 times. Gotta rub it in 8 times. Alright. Fair enough.
Lost in life, lost in life, lost in you, lost in you, lost in life, lost in life, lost in you, lost in you, lost in life, lost in life, lost in you. Lost in you, lost in life, lost in life, lost in you, lost in you.
Oh, Jesus, man. What's the next? Okay, the next. Oh, this didn't stop. The next track is called I Believe, and I want to believe that that's an upbeat title. We'll see, because anyway, I think to try and distract from my brain, I'm just gonna here we go. This is what every time it said Yoo-hoo, but they wrote it out like Yoo-hoo. I was just gonna give this glue, Yoo-hoo glue. That's the smallest image in the world. Give me large, or give me nothing. More tools, size, large. I want a large picture of Yoo-hoo glue. There we go. Yoo-hoo glue. That's what I was thinking of. That's it. Oh, okay. Ada says, I'm not drunk enough for this metaphysical discussion of life. Well, what do you think would happen when you clicked on an RM reaction? A. Comedian doesn't react anymore, he just growls. That might be, depending on how the next song goes, it might just be me barking at the mic, so if anyone is okay with that. Yoo-hoo should rebrand to Yoo-woo. That would be great. They should do like a little kawaii, special edition called Yoo-woo glue. Alright. So next up is I Believe. I Believe by RM of BTS. Maybe it'll be more upbeat. We'll see. It does sound more upbeat. Okay. Thank goodness. But we'll see. Because BTS, they'll pull you in with the lyrics. Okay.
Believe my faith, believe my rap, I believe my team voice will one day be spread. 내 꿈내 존재 자체를 의심한 적은 있어도 내 목소리만큼은 의심한 적이 없어. So real. 내 세상에서 내가 신이야, that not a tale. 분수로 따지면 I'm real. How you feel, babe? 너가 너의 주인임을 믿어. 잘 맞춰주고 있어 이성과 감성의 시선.
Yeah, I mean, these are intense questions for a first date, because he said babe, so I'm imagining RM on a first date in like a little suit and tie, and he's like, how do you feel? Do you want the gyoza to start? Okay, let's get the dumplings to start. By the way, do you believe in your own ownership? Just putting that out there. What do you mean you want to get the check? What do you mean? Yep, that is the thing I'm struggling with. This man's dropping in MSG references to his raps. That's next level. Whoa. Damn. So self-doubt and self-thoughts is like MSG. It erases your own true taste. I'm drowning in an MSG, people. Well, at least the synth in the back is upbeat.
believe, yeah. You know I believe in love, believe in hope, believe in thoughts. That I will I be living this life, living this stuff like breathing. 나도 가끔 혼란이 와 나란 놈은 무엇인가 때론 참 천사 같기도 악마 같기도 하지만 모든 것은 양면.
I relate to that too. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm a nice person. Other times I'm like, what if I'm secretly evil? What if it's a cover for myself? I think that's called anxiety.
어차피 우린 전부 시간의 손바닥 위에서 넌날 잊기보다 매겼어 어디 있어도 무엇을 하더라도 I believe I believe 내가 어디
This track's almost like an apology. It's like the very last track on the album. He's like, I need to make sure they don't go away and self-harm after this. So you know, here's a little upbeat ditty. I want to be like, I appreciate the gesture RM, but I don't think it's enough, honestly. Like, it's good, but I don't think it's quite enough. Oh. Well, that was too much lyrics for one eyeball. Okay. Even if people don't believe in their own dreams, when others tell them to dream something, they all believe it. Wow. Jesus. And this, again, is like him dissing the self-help thing. But I don't think it's like him being critical, being like, you're all losers and sheep. I think it's him saying, just think about that. You know, why is it if somebody else tells you what to believe, you'll do it, but you won't believe in yourself? Maybe give yourself some more credit. It's like, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say that, mate, but you're incredibly talented. So, you know, makes a bit difference. It's my only gripe with this song. It's not upbeat enough. It is upbeat, but not enough to round out the whole album. Whew. Okay, well, I feel a little bit more alive now, but not much. Okay, so yes, that was a good album. Should say some more about that, shouldn't I? It was great. But it was so good that I lost the power of language, because the last two penultimate songs were just so utterly depressing that I actually feel a bit angry about it. I'm a bit like it should have had a trigger warning on it from RM himself. But you know, excellent work. It's ridiculous to think that he released that at age 20. It's actually obscene. It makes me feel angry. You know, like the man oozes talent. It's kind of crazy, and it's actually kind of not surprising looking back how big they are now. You know, when they have people like RM. I mean, all of them, but you know, when you have, even if a group just had RM in it, you'd think that group would go far. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. Alicia Laura, another super chat saying, I just wondering if you were still thinking about my serious proposal. You weren't being serious. There's no way you were being serious. I can't believe that. I refuse to believe that. All right. So, are people going to suggest... I didn't really finish my outro, but if you guys want to suggest one more like very, very upbeat track to do, I am down. I should probably try and finish it on a slightly more upbeat note. But I'm also worried if I do a reaction now, I'll be like, eh. So, but yeah, if anyone is tuning into this live stream after the fact, thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed the full album reaction. I very much did. I thought it was a masterpiece, basically, and I'll absolutely be trying to see if I can rip that, legally steal that from SoundCloud, because SoundCloud's quality isn't great, and it's a pain in the ass to use. It's a shame it's only on SoundCloud. And if anyone else wants the files I'll try and rip from SoundCloud, hit me up. Reasonable prices. But yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And if you guys enjoyed that entire thing, or even just parts of it, make sure you subscribe. You can support me by going on my Patreon and checking out my stuff on there. I've got Run BTS and Bon Voyage reactions on there. I've got Discord in the description, and I've got a thank you to all of you in a live stream or later for coming along. Thank you very much. And remember, if you like this reaction to RM's mixtape, then click on the subscribe button. I ain't no Snape. That's not a good rhyme, but you know, I did it right on the spot, so whatever. Have I listened?